Day one in this unit talks about living a God-centered life. All right. What is self-centered living versus God-centered living? So let's talk about it. Self-centered living, of course, is when you're focused on yourself, right? It's also a time when you are super, super proud of yourself and the accomplishments that you have made, okay? It's being highly self-confident, depending on your own self and your own abilities, affirming yourself, seeking to be accepted by the world and in the ways of the world, looking at circumstances from a human perspective, and choosing selfish ways versus world living. All right, so that's a self-centered life. And some of you may say, well, that doesn't sound that bad, but let's compare it to a God-centered life. A God-centered life is when we place our confidence in God versus self. It's when we depend on God and God's ability to work through us, right? God's provision versus our own ability. It's when we're focused on God and His mercy and His activity versus ourselves. It's when we are humble before God, right? It's when we deny ourselves, okay? It's okay. There's times when you really, really, really need to deny self so that you can join God in His activity. God-centered life versus self-centered life is when we seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. Okay, it's when we seek God's perspective in every circumstances versus our own. And it's when we choose holy and godly living versus selfish and worldly living. Now, which one sounds better? God is the author and the finisher. God is the creator, right? Why wouldn't we want to live a God-centered life? Okay, if we focus on God, if we trust in God versus those chariots and horses, we'll see our lives moving in a more positive direction, all right? So I want you to think about God-centered living versus self-centered living, and I want you to make a choice, all right? Thanks for listening in. I'll see you in the next video.